Okay, so I think it's pretty much about time to start. So, welcome to this admin masterclass. What we want to do today is focus on, obviously, in the other masterclasses that we've done, we've focused on sending out emails, building the content, and also generating those targeted campaigns as well. What we want to focus on today is to ensure that the properties that you're putting within those emails are intelligently targeted at your client's needs as well. So before I automate any email, I always think of these three expectations from our clients as to how the email addresses those needs and how they're getting a better experience as well. So as you can see, in terms of these three stats, you can see over 2/3 of your database expects you to understand their needs. They expect you to identify that they're an individual and that everyone has their own intentions and their own journey within property as well. So they expect you to not only understand their needs, but also to adapt based on their behavior. So in terms of, what they're currently clicking on, if their intention has changed, if their requirements have changed as well, they expect you to adapt based on that behavior and send them out the correct information as well. Now, not only sending them out the right information, but also making it a connected experience. So it's a smooth transition as to when they meet the agents in the offline world and what communication they get on the online world as well. They want that to be connected and to be interconnected as well. Now, in regards to how we can do that appropriately through our property panels, there are many different ways that we can customize this, and I want to take you through it step by step. So the first one that I want to focus on is the hyper-local marketing. So this is where you can target specific geographical locations. And what you can do is you can either make it, I suppose, more lead generation or make it more informative as well. So for your potential sellers, you'll obviously have their updated information within the database. What we can do is we can feed that through and extract that data, such as, certain suburbs or certain streets that people live on, and properly appropriate those listings to those people as well. So it's really key in terms of informing people of what's happened within their street or what's happened, just around the corner as well. So I'm going to show you later in terms of how you can extract that data and utilize it within your emails to make it hyperlocal for your clients as well. Another thing that we do with the geographical locations is we can tailor the just listed and just sold reports to go out as well. So this is a really effective reoccurring campaign. What we can do is we can make it so that instantly when you either list or sell a property, an email can be picked up and sent out without you having to activate it automatically, and it will go to anyone within the area, be it a buyer or a seller, to inform them of those results that's relevant to them as well. It's really easy to create some engagement from your potential sellers in your area by sending these out, whether it be just listed or just sold, because a lot of people are very, cautious with property market at the moment. They're very unsure of what's happening as well. So if you show them a case scenario that is right around the corner from them, it's going to show that you guys are active, you guys are the experts in the area as well, but also keep them informed of the relevant properties within the area and keep the agent and contact connected as well. So we can show that you guys are the leaders within the market, but also appeal to your buyers' requirements as well. Now, what we've also seen work really effectively is to build your database. You can put it off-market properties to your database before it even hits the web. So there's a lot of people doing VIP lists, and that's to grow your database. People are missing out if they're not on your database and they're not actually seeing your properties. So what you can actually do is you can pick up on off-market properties and have an automated campaign going out before it actually releases. You might have, a 4-week auction campaign, but a week before you might release it to the VIPs, just to generate some interest, generate some register interest for your vendors as well. Get the properties in front of buyers, but also get some feedback pre-campaign to your vendors as well. Now, we pick up on the off-market, but we can also tailor that to the buyer's requirements as well, so they're getting the relevant opportunities, okay? Now, we also do have the ability to make your emails a lot more concise and a lot more direct as well. So if you do have agents within your office that only want to send out their properties to their own database as well, they don't want any crossover, they want to keep it nice and transparent through the transaction as well, what we can do is we can pick up the agent's listings and just send it to their clients as well. So providing that information obviously becomes more relevant to that connection between agent and client as well. And it just enhances the trust between them as well. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the case-by-case scenario and how you can actually activate that within the platform as well. So if we jump into the dashboard here, you will have access in the bottom left-hand corner to all of your agents and also to the admin account as well. So for the first email that we're actually going to be looking at, the hyperlocal results. So this is, you know, just around the corner or in your street. So what we can do here is we can jump into Bob's account and jump into any one of your agent's accounts. And what we can do is we can create different audiences that we can target. So this is really key in terms of what we can pick up within the CRM and how we can utilize it as well. So if we've got an audience that we want to create, say for, you know, let's go Lake Street. We've got these list of filters that we can utilize. So what we can do is we can drop down this box and we're going to pick up on the contacts fields within the CRM. So if we've got their street address, we can actually just type in the street and load through all the contacts that are within that certain street. Then once the property sells, we can utilize this audience to send them the result. Or if we are listing this property as well, we can utilize that when we are sending it out to them as well. So that's a way to create specific targeted audiences based on the street address to show some real results for those clients as well. Now, obviously, once we've got that audience created, we can obviously action the campaign, which we've been through in other webinars. I'll show you where to access that. But if you do have any questions at the end, please feel free to put it in the Q&A and I can answer them whilst I'm in the app as well. So for the hyperlocal journeys, if you want to pick up on the street address, create the audiences. Now, if we do want to do the just listed or just solds, we can actually pick up on geographical location and tailor those properties within the email. So I'm going to jump into the email, label it whatever you want. And all we're doing is on the right-hand side of the email builder, we're going down to the properties panels here. Now, what I'm doing here for the grid, it's also the same terms for the list and also for the feature property as well. You can do the same functionality on either one of those options, no matter how you want to pull your properties in. But what we want to do is we want to make this an automated process and we want to pick up on those relevant fields. So if we go on to the toggle section here, that enables us to pull through the properties from the CRM based on your definitions. So we want to jump into the definitions to properly define these to fit your requirements. So say I was putting out a just sold or just listed. What I want to do is I want to pick up on the right properties. So for a newly listed campaign, we want to look at what type of listing it is. So we can do, you know, sales or leasing, whatever. We want to have a look at the listing status. This is going to be very key as well. So we want to do the current if we're just listed, and we want to order the results by listed, datest, newest to oldest. Okay. So once we've checked off those three, we can pick how many properties are actually going to feed through as well. In case we've got quite a lot on our books, we've just been on a listing drive and listed quite a lot. Default is 4, but you can actually have up to 24 properties within this panel. But what we want to do is we want to send this out to the right people. So if we want to restrict it by the contacts fields, we can jump into the contact section up the top. Now, this enables us to either match the requirements on their preferences. Now, bear in mind, these are their requirements in terms of buying. So if it's a just listed and you want to let all your buyers know in terms of a daily buyer matched email or something like that, a weekly buyer matched email, we can always set it up so it matches any of their requirements here. But if we want to send it out to our potential sellers, we want to pick up on where they're located and make sure that the right properties are going to them. So right down the bottom, we've got this little tick box here, and that highlights that we're only pulling through properties that are located near the contact. Now we can also define where we want it located near the contact. So what parameters, whether it be in the same postcode as them, whether it be by distance, or same city. Now for those in Australia, we're talking about suburb here. So it'll be the same suburb. So it's what's happening in your suburb, or by distance, you know, what's happening just around the corner. You can define this by kilometers, or you can even go as low as, you know, 250 meters. So you can really make it quite specific as to what's happening, you know, just down the road, or even just by postcode, as I said. Okay, so those are the two things that we're going to highlight in terms of the just listed and just solds. So we want to make sure that it's located near the contact, of which parameters we select as well. And we want to make sure that it's pulling through the right criteria of listing as well. Now, this is for just listed. If it is for just sold, we want to amend that to just sold for the listing status. And we also want to adjust the ordered by, because this is picking up on the date listed, newest to oldest. But what we want to do is we want to change that to the date sold, newest to oldest, so that it's pulling through the relevant ones, newest to oldest. Okay. So once you've got those, you can actually customize it even further. Sorry, I've missed one bit. So in the advanced section, this second panel is what we want to focus on for the just listed and the just solds. Okay. So what we can do is we can pick up on when they were listed and when they were sold as well. So if you've got one just listed, what we can do is we can narrow it down to just listed within the last day. So once we activate this campaign, we'll do it on a recurring basis, and we'll actually recur it every day. So we won't send this email every day. We'll just search for whatever's relevant on that day. And if there's anything relevant for that client, we'll action it to go out. So bear in mind, this email will not go every day. It'll only go when we've got relevant information for the right people as well. So you don't have to keep on, you know, building campaigns every time you list something. You just know in the background that every time we pick up that something's been listed in the last day and it's close to the contact in terms of the postcode or the location, we will action that email. Okay. Same goes for the sold results as well. Okay. So we've ticked off the hyperlocal in terms of how we actually create the audience for the street. Now going back to that one, sorry, I'm chopping and changing a little bit, but I just want to make sure that everything's being covered. For the hyperlocal, you've created the audience in terms of the street. So for that one, you would just create it manually. So if I bring in a property panel, either it be a grid or I might do a featured one just because we've had one listing happen within the street. I would just pick that manually from that little home icon down the bottom. This will actually feed me through to the CRM results in terms of what properties are actually on the market. And say if we're sending out to people within Vauxhall Road, I'd select that property and that one's going to go out to that specific audience. Okay. So I've ticked off the hyperlocal in terms of building the audiences and then selecting the property appropriate for that street. For the just listed and the just solds, we jump into the grid or the list and we automate through those definition panels as well. Now, if we want to do an off-market listing, that also is available. I don't have that definition within the demo account, but what I can show you is where to find it. So you would still pull through the property panel as normal in terms of pulling through a grid or a list, and you would still toggle it on. So we're automatically pulling it through and we jump into define properties. Now we can, you know, open it up to however many you may have on the off-market list as well. But the way that you actually identify your off-markets is through the listing status. If you have listed it as an off-market and define that through the CRM, then we can pick up on that. And instead of sold and current or leased, it will actually have off-market where you can select those ones and automatically filter them through. You could also enhance that by sending out your off-markets by clicking on the off-market here, but also tailoring them to your buyer requirements as well. So it's only going out to the right VIPs with the right requirements that match that off-market property as well. So you can tailor two things within your off-market listings, okay? Now, the last one that we want to focus on is restricting emails by agent. So if you're sending out on behalf of a particular agent and you only want their listings being fed through, say it might be to their potential vendors to let them know of what they're doing on the market, or it might be their sold results as well to make them quite tailored and almost be an agent profile to their potential sellers. What you can actually do is select all your different categories in terms of current and sold. And then all you need to do is jump into advanced. And this will have this tick box here, only include agents listings. So what you can do is you can do this per agent. So if you're sending on behalf of an individual agent, you can put these settings on. Or this is actually a blanket setting. If you're activating your campaigns from the admin account and you're sending on behalf of 4 different agents, but you only want to include their agents listings within their emails, then you can select that and we still will filter for each individual agent as well. Okay, so it's trying to make your workflow a lot easier and also make it a lot more transparent for each individual agent as well. So in terms of the technical side of the property panels, that is pretty much it. So we've covered off on the hyperlocal, making it very specific for the client in terms of what's happening in their street or just around the corner. We've talked about the just listed and the just solds. We've also focused on how you can actually activate a buyer match email in regards to making it a daily occurrence for that buyer match. And we've focused on the off-market and also the agent-only listings as well. So once you have those definitions on those panels, it will only pull through properties that are relevant to that. As I said, it will only send if there is relevant information within that email as well. So if we did complete that email and we wanted to action the campaign, we would jump into the campaign section, label it, you know, say if you were doing a daily buy matched email, we would send to all contacts because we don't want to exclude any contacts that may fit the requirements. But what we have done is within the email, we have set the requirements as well, okay? So you want to open it up to everyone within your database, but the email will only send to the specific people that we pick up relevant information for. So select all contacts. Now you want to schedule this at a specific time. I would say at the end of the day, so that if you did put any listings or sold results within the CRM, we have time to pick up on those relevant results as well. So you can pick, you know, I would say send these ones out at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You're going to get people on the end of commute as well, right when they get home, or they may be just sitting at home right now because they're, you know, stuck on quarantine or something like that. And you would repeat this. Now, for the daily buy matched emails and the just listed and the just solds, I would select this to repeat every day. As I said, bear in mind, it's not going to go out every single day. It's only going to go out if you do have match requirements within that day as well. After we've set it to go out every day, then we can actually select the email that's actually going to go out. So you would pick whatever email that is. Just know that you've got the definitions within the email, restricting when it goes out to who it goes out to as well. And then you can just save and activate from there. So as soon as that's saved and activated, that's going to go out. You just know in the back of your mind that we're constantly letting your potential sellers and also your buyers know of the relevant information automatically. And it just makes your workflow a whole lot easier as well. Now, I've got through that quite quick in terms of other webinars as well. So we've got about 10 minutes here. So if anyone has any questions that they want to ask me, if I did go too quickly, you will get this recording along with the slides as well. So you can work through them in your own time. But hopefully I've been clear and covered everything. If you do have any use case scenarios, please feel free to drop them in the question and answers or the chat. and I can answer them right now within the app, just so we can go through it in depth as well. Now, just whilst I wait for any questions to come through, if you are stuck at any point, particularly within the email builder, what you can do is if you're creating any email and you are within the email builder, what you can do is you can jump into the support.activepipe.com and you can Google pretty much anything. So if you want to work on the property panels, filter property panels by location, it will come up with suggested links in terms of articles and in terms of videos that we've actually built out. And this will walk you through step by step. So anytime you're actually within the app, you can go into support.activepipe.com. At certain points within the app, there will be a little help bar, this little speech bubble that you can access, and it will come up with relevant articles for you to work through as well, just to make your workflow a lot easier. But I'd say bookmark support.activepipe.com and you'll be able to Google anything that you're working through and be able to get, real-time answers and easy workflow as well. Now, as I mentioned, we have done some past webinars as well in terms of building the emails, the content, actioning the campaigns as well. So if you want to work through those in a lot more detail, what we can do is go on to activepipe.com. Within the resources section, you've actually got the webinars links there. So you can jump in and have a look at what the past webinars are or what upcoming webinars we have and register for them. Kylie Davis is doing a great 4-step webinar in terms of getting the email marketing absolutely perfect within your office. But you can see here, building emails and campaigns, Cherie's done some great work in terms of making it really simple for you to work through those sections and really make this work a lot harder for you in the background. Now, it doesn't look like I've got any questions at this stage. So if anyone's got any questions, thanks Renee for the good feedback. But if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to shoot them through to success@activepipe.com and we can answer it at any time. But yeah, you will get the recording of this to work through it in your own time as well. And I look forward to seeing you on the next webinar as well. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day and yeah, see you next time.